Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, that you're all having a great day to start things off. Bitcoin is roaring higher after weeks of consolidation in a $1,000 range between 10,000 and 11,000 US dollars. The leading cryptocurrency currently trades roughly around 13,000 US dollars, depending on where you look. Some of them are $50 low, some of them are $20 higher. It's because cryptocurrency exchanges always have slightly varying differing prices amongst themselves. Its highest price year to date, save for a quick blip above $13,200 on Wednesday. Underpinning this surge higher is a set of on-chain fundamentals and narrative fundamentals that are set to drive the price of the coin even higher in the future. Lucas Nuzzi, a blockchain data analyst at Coin Metrics, recently highlighted 5 key trends suggesting that Bitcoin's fundamentals are incredibly good. They are: the percentage of Bitcoin being held for at least 1 year in addresses has reached an all-time high value of nearly 65%. Not many people really want to sell their Bitcoin right now, especially if the price is predicted to go up to 6 figures. Bitcoin stored on centralized exchanges has been consistently decreasing in 2020, which is a testament to the point above. Bitcoin is also being increasingly held by its owners as opposed to centralized counterparties. Just logic. Bitcoin's hash rate continues to set new all-time highs as mining companies continue to form partnerships and install more farms, driving this metric, which tracks the security of the network, higher. A lot of the companies who announced that they would be getting into cryptocurrency mining last year, not that we've heard about them, I wasn't really expecting them to have like launch parties and stuff like that. But I assume they've all come online at this point. The one that was in Texas, the one that was in Washington, the one that was in Alaska, when we were having that discussion that China controls a very huge mathematical portion of the Bitcoin hash rate. I assume that all these people have been turning on their computers, not only to secure the network. I assume that's maybe 1% of the actual doing of it. I assume it has to do with the money. If you can see that you're getting some good Bitcoin and the price is going to go up higher, then you would definitely work towards mining as many as possible. The count of addresses holding more than $1 worth of Bitcoin has reached an all-time high, suggesting that there's an increased adoption of Bitcoin. We had this news a couple of weeks ago as well. I think they're now mathematically, so saith the computer and the websites, that I think over 100 million people now are believed to be in Bitcoin in some sort of fashion, and they have some fragment of Bitcoin. And once again, the discussion was, if you have a fragment of Bitcoin, let's say you have $100 worth of Bitcoin, and you check your wallet and you see that you made $30 from doing nothing, well, that kind of piques your interest and you start wanting to buy more. And this only helps us to increase adoption and also decrease the amount of Bitcoin that's circulating around. And Bitcoin's annual inflation rate has crashed as a result of the halving. Some investors have been expecting an institutional supply shortage as the amount of Bitcoin available to be sold gets squeezed away by long-term holders and buyers, which we're also going to get into in a minute, because the we bought a lot of crypto news is not stopping. So at the moment, a lot of people are incredibly bullish on the cryptocurrency market. This one says $900 imminent. Analyst claims Ethereum is ready for an explosive move higher. I'm actually quite shocked that Ethereum is only going up, or has, even through the course of this year, has only gone up as much as it actually has. Especially, I mean, there's so much like adoption news in this. When you see exactly how much Ethereum has been used just in the last 7-8 months, you'll go, oh yeah, its price should probably be a lot higher. I would not be surprised if we hit a $500, $600, $700 Ethereum. I think a $900 Ethereum will probably show itself once Bitcoin goes above 15,000. It's a lot of speculation based on when Ethereum 2.0 is going to begin to pop up, and also just actual usage. This one says Bitcoin consolidates while altcoins continues to rise. I think Bitcoin is floating around the $13,000 level, and other altcoins are starting to push themselves higher. As remember, was it like a week ago at this point when Bitcoin started going up and Bitcoin was the only coin going up and the altcoins were completely in red? Bitcoin's trending upwardly sideways, and altcoins have begun to, almost said show their fangs. That's a phrase. But you get exactly what I'm saying. Altcoins are starting to move up. And this one says, research boutique. Okay. Bitcoin chart is echoing previous exponential surges. This is all over the place. A lot of people are saying that they think. Now, no one knows for certain. However, they're saying, bear with me, that by the 5th of November, if you catch my drift, we should have a very clear indication as to where the cryptocurrency market is going to go. A lot of people are saying, based off of current data that they have from the Bitcoin charts and the Bitcoin this and the Bitcoin metrics, that Bitcoin looks like it's going to start mimicking very soon what we saw in 2017. Take that how you will, even if it's just with a grain of salt, but a lot of people are very excited right now. And the news that we keep getting is that Bitcoin looks as if it's going to go higher. Ethereum looks as if it's going to start pumping and rising a lot faster. And that is the price news that we have for today. And without further ado, let's move on. In mega popular news, I could not get away from this no matter how hard I tried. Digital asset manager Grayscale Investments has acquired an additional $300 million worth of crypto in the last 24 hours. Grayscale CEO Barry Silbert made the announcement via Twitter late Thursday evening, shortly after the company posted an update to its digital asset portfolio. He said added a cool $300 million in assets under management in one day. The additional sum brings the total held by Grayscale to $7.3 billion US. The move comes at a time when the hype surrounding PayPal's foray into the crypto markets has drawn additional attention, of course. Last week, the digital asset manager announced its best quarterly results to date, having bought in just over $1 billion in investments across all of its cryptocurrency products. I think it was $1 billion and $700 million were into Bitcoin. They keep buying more, and they're not going to stop. I would love a world, would love it, where the cryptocurrency market mimicked this news. You know, one company over the last 5 weeks bought billions of dollars worth of crypto. But, however, here's the actual tweet right here. Incredibly popular news. This was all over the place. I only have 2 tabs because I thought it would be redundant to have 38 tabs up here saying the exact same thing. Grayscale is huge. I remember when we first heard about them last year, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, they have a couple million. They are buying up all the Bitcoin and all the crypto that they have out there. I think their actual portfolio is lined with, I think the majority is Bitcoin, of course. They have Bcash, they have Ethereum, they have XRP. I think they have Lumens. And I want to say Zcash. I feel like that's wrong, but I feel like they definitely have one of those coins in the mix somewhere as well. 300 million in one day. I assume a huge part of that was fueled by the PayPal news. But regardless, it's still, oh yeah, here we go. Bitcoin, Bcash, Ethereum Classic. Where? I can't read that, it's so small. Horizon? Okay, sure, why not? Litecoin, Lumens, XRP, and Zcash. Okay, it was Zcash. Yeah. Absolutely insane. I'm sure. I told all of you, like, we're gonna, and this is just a Grayscale, but we're gonna start getting the news from other companies that they're doing the exact same thing. And then people will realize in one fell swoop that they can never own an entire Bitcoin, and that's going to drive them completely insane. But it's good for everyone who's been in the market for a while. Next up, also in very popular news, and this is why I said, like, it's actual usage. Like, a lot of it has to do with the hype of the future of where a lot of this is going to be going. A lot of it has to do with when is Ethereum 2.0 going to pop up, and when can we stake our coins and therefore actually lessen the supply of Ethereum going around. But it's also actual usage of their blockchain. The third quarter decentralized finance boom has resulted in the Ethereum network processing more than twice the daily transaction volume of Bitcoin. Logical. According to the crypto market aggregator Masari, the 30-day rolling daily average for Ethereum transactions volume is currently $7 billion US dollars, with Bitcoin processing less than $3 billion. If the current trend continues, Masari predicts Ethereum will become the first public blockchain to settle $1 trillion in transfers over a calendar year. Ethereum's previous strongest calendar year relative to Bitcoin was in 2018, when it processed $500 million in volume. That's a big jump. 2018, $500 million in volume to 1 trillion. That's 500 million. That's a lot of extra 500 millions compiled on top of each other to get to 1 trillion, which was 59% of Bitcoin's 849 million that year. Bitcoin is on pace for its second strongest year behind 2018, projected to process $800 million. I think that's also completely false as well. I think these numbers aren't correct, because the news that we had last year was that Bitcoin transacted over 1 trillion. That was part of the reason why we got the news in general from PayPal. I don't know if Bitcoin last year, 2019, was maybe 800 billion, because the news that we had was that they were twice as much as PayPal, and PayPal had, I think, 480 or 490 billion dollars, and this is why it was like, okay, Bitcoin did more than PayPal. Anyway, the point being, this is also popular news as well. It should not be surprising. It is a staggering number. This isn't a normal number. Like, there aren't banks transacting this much. There aren't mega companies transacting this much value back and forth. For a blockchain to be transacting $1 trillion, even $1 billion would be completely staggering. Just considering that Ethereum is from 2015, 2016, that's not a long amount of time to be transacting even $1 billion. Like, that's how long it takes certain huge companies to actually reach $1 billion market cap. To transact $1 trillion just actually mathematically doesn't make any sense. I know that it does because of the numbers on the chain. I get it, got it good. But it's more of that's a lot. And just throwing this in there because, you know, I got a logic. This guy's fingers are super long. That looks unnatural. Look, that's kind of like alien-like almost. Look how long he has, like 5 folds. We don't have 5 folds in our fingers. Look at your fingers. You have 2 folds. They're multiple. The point is, wow, that was a really weird segue. The entire point is, I've mentioned this before, you're going to hear it again at some point in the future. When we talk about the actual usage of blockchains, a lot of times when we get news that a company or a country or a government or a bank is going to be using Ethereum, people go, I don't understand. Like, why are they using that? Tron is so much faster. It's not about that. It's about the network security. You need to know that there are people actually interested in said blockchain who are using their computers in their whatever to actually make sure that this blockchain is secure. Especially when I can't stop looking at that. Especially when you get into the actual discussion of, you know, the future of these chains. If Bitcoin, the number one coin, is currently behind Ethereum, just imagine how far behind the other coins are in actual, not even yearly volume and daily volume and all this other stuff. Anyway, that's the Ethereum news. It's really staggering. I don't know if it's simply that people are, what's the word? Not disenfranchised, not decentralized, desensitized. I knew I had a D somewhere. I don't know if people are decentralized, desensitized in a certain way that 1 trillion just doesn't sound like a lot to them. Like I've mentioned like numbers before to people. I'm like, yeah, this company did 45 billion, and they're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, that's it. Like, imagine if you had $45 billion and somebody was like, ugh, not a lot. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. And let's move on. In even more popular news, not joking either, a couple of days after the official declaration of plans for enabling crypto services, PayPal Holdings is now eyeing to acquire cryptocurrency companies to bolster its position in the industry. Citing anonymous sources, Bloomberg reported on Friday that the payment giant is considering to acquire several companies, the most notable one being BitGo. PayPal already started talks with BitGo, and the deal could be sealed within weeks. However, the deal might not materialize if the payments company sees value in other companies on its list. The source has added it is not clear how much PayPal is willing to pay for BitGo. And then they talk about when BitGo came about. Sure, why not? I couldn't find the actual list. Apparently, there's a list of companies who they are eyeing or looking at or thinking of acquiring. The only one that kept on popping up was BitGo. I assume there are at least 15 different companies who they're currently in talks with. I did not assume that PayPal would stop and be like, well, we added, Bitcoins on our platform. This is it, guys. High five. They're going to try and take over the entire industry because that's how companies work. And even the entire citing anonymous sources, we actually got the news that PayPal was going to be adding Bitcoin from 3 anonymous sources within the cryptocurrency space. For some reason, I don't know if we're on a good run or what it is. Anonymous sources tend to do very well within the cryptocurrency space. As far as I can remember, thus far, all the anonymous sources that we've gotten, we also had anonymous sources for NASDAQ getting into crypto, for Back to launching. It was all these things, and they all actually ended up coming true. So one can only assume that logically, a mega company like PayPal is going to try and acquire other companies all over the place. Could not get away from it. This was even more popular than today's very popular news day. I should name this video, "This is just popular news." Not the same effect as if I was telling you exactly what's in the video, but you would get the drift in the first place. Anyway, yeah, that's all the PayPal news. I assume by the end of the year, we will have more of a concrete amount of companies they're trying to buy. I assume somewhere behind the scenes as well, they knocked on Coinbase's door and they were like, hey, you guys for sale? And Coinbase just simply did not answer. Anyway, further ado and all that stuff, and we're going to move on. Next up, and also very popular news. I don't know how many times I could say it. MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor says crypto traders who are skeptical of his commitment to Bitcoin are sorely mistaken. In a new interview with Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal, Saylor says he's so bullish on Bitcoin's power to serve as the ultimate treasury asset, he can't believe that there are people who are actually willing to sell it to him. He said, who are these people? Sorry. He said, who are these people that are selling it to me? I can't believe someone is willing to sell it to me, but I'm thanking my lucky stars. I'm like, hit me again, hit me again, hit me again. I don't think anyone actually talks like that, so it's pretty funny. Hello, friend. I was chatting with my friend, and he was discussing the way that I talk. And it's just the way that I talk. I don't think of how I talk. It just, flows from me. But he was saying that I have quite interesting phrases. Like I think in yesterday's video, oh gosh, what did I say? I was like, freak it, gosh darn it, or something like that. But it's just how I talk. So as I was reading this, that's why I was laughing. I was like, because I know it sounds silly, but to this guy, when he's saying it, it just sounds completely normal. But I'm thanking my lucky stars. I'm like, hit me again, hit me again, hit me again. Since announcing his firm's investment, Saylor says crypto advocates and investors have implied he has weak hands. But nothing could be further from the truth. For those of you who haven't been looking, a lot of people have been saying, many companies, I don't know where the skepticism really lies, or where people think that people aren't really into crypto as much as they are. But people have been like, well, he only bought it, so when the price goes back to 20,000, he's going to dump, and is like, well, no, once again, just traveling back in time to where we were before. If banks, who are supposedly not supposed to like Bitcoin, are coming to the conclusion that by the end of next year, if not by the end of 2024, Bitcoin is going to be anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000. Why would anyone sell at 20,000? Just pushing as much logic into the air as possible. He said, I see these guys on crypto Twitter and they're like, yeah, Sailor's going to buy it and he's going to dump it. He's going to buy it and then buy another company with it. He's going to buy it until he gets this profit and do whatever. That just sounds like jealousy to me. He said there's a lot of traders in the market. They don't understand the mindset of long. I'm buying it for the dude that's going to work for the dude that's going to get hired by the guy who might take over my job in 100 years. I'm not selling it. When it goes up by a factor of 100, I might borrow a little. Listen, me too. I'm not even going to lie. We've spoken about this before. I don't plan on selling any of my crypto assets, but it's going to get to a certain point where I'm like, I kind of really want to buy a beach house. He said I might be borrowing a little to go buy something that I want, but what am I going to buy with it that's better than what I'm buying? For those of you who don't get this sentence as well, the entire idea has been for a very long time. As fiat currencies continue to inflate. There was another news story. I don't have it here. Apparently, there's now like that price premium that we saw before on Bitcoin years ago has returned. For those of you who weren't here during the premium days, we had in Japan, in South Korea, and I believe in certain countries in Africa. This was before South America was really in the cryptocurrency news. That as Bitcoin in our section of the price world was 10,000 US dollars. Other places were paying 12, 13, 14, 15. And you might say, why is it happening? Why did that happen? It had to do with regulation. If your cryptocurrency exchange was only regulated within your borders and people had to use you, all the Bitcoin started drying up very fast on these exchanges. And this is what got a lot of other countries to be like, hey, we got to stop people from, buying Bitcoin in general because they saw that it was completely outpacing their own currency and people were making tons of money and not declaring yada, 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 yada. So these premiums have returned in many places around the world. It was 15 countries in this article. I thought it was a bit drab isn't the word, but it was kind of depressing because they were talking about what's actually happening in these countries, and it's not the nicest things in the world. But people are buying Bitcoin there, and it's well beyond our 13,000 right now as far as a price premium. So the entire idea has been bringing it back as countries' fiat currencies continue to inflate. And people realize that Bitcoin is a better store value than a fiat currency or a stock or a bond or a mutual fund because they're all tied to the US dollar. Bitcoin strength price-wise would continue to rise. Why? Here's the idea behind it. Here's the idea, not saying that this is going to materialize, but this is the idea. If Bitcoin is deflationary in value, the amount being created gets cut in half every 4 years and they continue printing US dollars. If you know mathematically that next year, based on the past, that your Bitcoin is going to be worth more in 365 days, why would you buy a house? Why would you buy gold? Why would you buy anything that has to do with the US dollar? Because next year, the house that you're trying to buy, because Bitcoin's... The point is, Bitcoin continues to rise in value. Why would you put 100,000 into something that next year is only going to be worth 80,000 when you see that your Bitcoin has gone up to 120,000? That's kind of the entire mindset. Why would you buy something with it when you know that what you're buying, Bitcoin, is going to be better than what you could be acquiring another asset? I know I explained that all over the place, but I hope you really got what I was saying. He said every other treasury asset, and I count $250 trillion worth of the stuff, gold, fixed income, sovereign debt, cash equivalents, every other treasury asset's got a negative real yield. What am I going to buy with it? There's no other asset to buy with it. I guess maybe he explained it a little bit better if I had just scrolled down. Yes, it has been predicted, and I make sure to state these things because everything thus far that we are seeing has been predicted by some of the more intelligent people within the cryptocurrency space. I'm not talking about people who get into it, who have $1 billion and they're like, buy, sell. Oh, overbought. It's more of this long-term trend, seeing even years ago, the entire idea of a central bank digital currency wasn't a thing. But it was Antonopoulos in 2012 and many other people who were like, these things are going to happen. We couldn't see that far, but not that they're oracles or whatever, but they could kind of, see the future very easily laying out. So the entire idea is that within the next 10 years, apparently we're going to see a huge shift of people no longer holding any of these assets because everyone's going to know that everything should just be put inside of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is at that point going to be established as the winner. Anyway, the news being very popular right now is that the guy who bought, what was it, $425 million worth of Bitcoin, which is now over $500 million to him, so congratulations, says that his company is going to be holding Bitcoin for 100 years. I don't doubt it at all. Once we see Bitcoin pass by 100K, like that's it. Like there's no more really going back from that. Even if Bitcoin's price does dip back to $35,000 after the huge run up, we're still going to know that it's all cyclical. And that in another 4 years, the price is going to also go back up once again. And then it kind of continues on this way. So anyway, I don't blame him. It's just still, I have this vision in my head. It's so clear as well of these companies and these family offices who own 3,000 Bitcoin, 15,000 Bitcoin, 22,000 Bitcoin. If we get to $1 million Bitcoin, like they are going to, you think there's a divide between rich and poor now and a shrinking middle class? You have no idea what's coming. There will be Bitcoin holders and non-Bitcoin holders. That's all there's going to be. Remember that thing we all read before? If you have 0.01 Bitcoin, you're in the top upper echelon of people. Okay, I'm gonna move on because I can get really intense and I'm not gonna do so. And to finish things off, I thought this one was actually quite interesting because I wasn't expecting the timing. Acoin, that is Akoie, OIN, Akoie, Akoi, the cryptocurrency developed by renowned pop star Akon to improve social opportunities and access for African entrepreneurs, has announced its premier listing on Bittrex. As per a release shared with Crypto Slate, Bittrex is one of the large cryptocurrency exchanges. Money. A coin based on the Stellar network will launch on Bittrex on the 11th of November, allowing users to trade and transact using the token. Yeah, that's basically that news. And I only mention this because I have a friend, hello to you, who thinks that this might actually become something big. We've had disagreements before because I don't. I think that any other altcoin right now is going to completely pale in comparison to what Bitcoin offers people, especially as we end up getting eventually quicker transactions on Bitcoin or more adoption on Bitcoin, yada, yada, yada. However, the entire idea that Akon was talking with other African countries to adopt a coin is kind of that's very substantial. To have at least 3 countries under your belt who are even thinking of adopting a cryptocurrency like this coin is a little insane. I still think it's going to be Bitcoin, but it kind of is what it is. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Hello, friend. Hope you're having a good day. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Bolero Bastos, Crayola Michelle, URL, On Crypto with Lionel, Tigara Macho Nisa, Bake Me a Cake, ArfMedic17, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Cal Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavoti, Paxis, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich III, Setsuna, Damien Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Bankroll Network, 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Master Ventures in Thailand, Moher Maroney, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Martin Stoyer, Joshua Vineyard, Moonman High, XRP, Utopia 569, Oscar Maldonado, Yasha Harari, Attila the Han, David James, Navarro Williams, Decentralized Peter, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Tolek Banan, and Professor Wally from Gunbot University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. And thank you to everyone in general for being here during this insanity is the nicest way of really putting it. At the moment, Bitcoin is up by 0.89%. Is at $12,970 US. Ether is at 415. It is up by 4%. I assume just based off of general logical hype at this point. Anything really crazy? Kind of going, every single coin is up or down between 1 to 5%. Kind of ish. I don't think anything is really going absolutely insane. Omise Go is up by 7%. I'm shrugging my shoulders because I wish I knew why. Aave is up by 17%. Also shrugging. I saw an article, I didn't have it in here, that said that it looks like Yearn Finance is going to break below 10,000 US dollars. Keeping in mind this thing was $40,000. So if any of you bought in when it was at 40,000, Waves is up by 11%. Shrug. Compound is up by 8%. Also a shrug. No real news on any of these coins. I assume it's a proposed pump, and that people are assuming the market's going to continue moving higher, and therefore they're moving higher based off of the expectation that the market is going to move higher. I do hope that you all enjoyed. Wait, hold on. Have a good Friday, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.